Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do the Tunisian Purl increase stitch, and for that it's just like doing a regular purl stitch, but either just adding an extra one in on the set stitch that you need or creating an extra loop on your hook at the beginning of the row. But I'll be showing you how to do all of it, where I'll do an increase at the beginning on this edge, somewhere in the middle to show you, and then on the edge so you can see it all clearly. When I do the return row, that will be the same as normal, but I shall do it to show you how it looks once it's finished, so you get a bit of an idea that you're working it along correctly as well, so your work should look a little bit similar, give or take, depending on obviously the pattern and how many increases you're doing. Today I've just used an Aran yarn in this cream colour with an 8mm hook. I've kept it quite chunky just so it's easier for you to see what it is that I'm doing. And if you're doing it and you're just giving it a go, use whatever yarn and hook you want to use to practice, whatever you find comfortable with. If you're following a pattern, make sure you do follow what the pattern asks, as you won't get the correct tension and everything. I'm just doing it chunky, as I said, so it's easier for you guys to see. So I've done a swatch of 10 stitches here, just to keep it short and sweet, so you can learn the stitch and then go off and do your pattern rather than sitting here watching a very long video listening to my voice droning on. So when you start off, you normally go straight into the second stitch. Now I know I've got that as purl, this is just as a knit stitch placement, just doing it to show you, so don't worry. You would normally go into that first one because you've got that first loop on your hook that corresponds to your first stitch, but you want to create an extra one on this edge, so you need an extra loop. So you're going to chain one, so you've got this has come from your first stitch, this is going to be for your second stitch. So from here you put your yarn in front as you normally would, and you work back into that first stitch. So now that creates an even, so that first one came for the first stitch, came for the first loop, creating that extra chain excuse me, creates that second one. So it's not really tight, it's not all tied into itself. You always need an extra chain at the beginning of your work, whether you're doing regular crochet. If you're then trying to increase, you need to make space for that too, and it's the same on here. So, and that's how you do it on the beginning. You chain one, then you work back into your first post. Now I'm just going to do a couple of regular purl stitches here, so that just moves that out of the way, and then I'll show you an increase in the middle. It doesn't have to be bang in the middle of the work when you do your increase. It will depend on the pattern and what they're asking for you to do. But, oh, sorry, my throat is terrible this afternoon. But when you do it, just make sure you follow the pattern. But this will be the same increase that I'm doing in the middle and at the end that you would do for any pattern that requires an increase. So I'll just do one more into this one here, as if this was my increase. So you do a regular one as you would do, like I've just done a purl stitch here into this loop here. To increase here, you would just do the exact same. I'm just going to pick it up to make it a little bit easier as you're working back into that same stitch. So now that has created my extra one at the beginning, my regular ones, and then my extra one here. So this was my first stitch I done into it, this is my extra stitch. So I now have 2 purl stitches coming from 1 stitch below, and then you just carry on as you normally would. So I'll just continue to the end, and then I'll show you the end. So I've got one more there. And then I'll go into the post as normal on the end, do my regular stitch, yarn in front, and then I'm going back into that post again. And it can be a little bit fiddly because obviously you're pulling your hook backwards along with the stitch that you're trying to get into. So that's why sometimes holding on to the post that you need might just make it a little bit easier to get back into it a second time. And now that I've done my ones at the beginning, my extra one at the beginning, so my first and my second where I've increased here, my regular ones, my regular one for the first one, and then my increase stitch, my regular ones, and then my regular one on the end, and my increase stitch there. So now I should have 13 if I count this correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stitches, all done purlwise, because you're always putting your yarn into the front of your hook and then going into your stitch from there when you do a purlwise, whether you're increasing or decreasing, which will be on another video coming up. Just thought I'd start off with the increase first and then go on to the decrease in another video, so that one will be coming up soon. But you always want to make sure your yarn is in front of your hook whenever you do a purl stitch, whether you're doing the regular ones, whether you're doing the increase or the decrease. It's always the same style where your yarn is in front of your hook. If you don't know how to do the purl stitch how you normally would without doing the increase, I'll just put a link up in the top corner in a minute, so you'll be able to see that, and that will take you over there and you can learn how to do this stitch regularly. This is just to give a quick demonstration on how to do the increase. But like I said, the return pass for this will be the same as it normally is. So you chain in your one, just get a hold of my yarn properly, and then you yarn over and pull through 2. So doing your return pass doesn't change whether there's an increase or a decrease on your row, or if you're just doing your regular stitches. It is the same to release the stitches off of your hook. Yarn's getting a bit sticky on my fingers. I'm a bit warm today. The weather's changed. It's been really grim the last couple of days, and now it's gone lovely. So now I'm very warm, which I'm not complaining. So there we have it. I'll just pull that one out so you can see. There is the increase. So here it's gone up on the edge and up on the edge, and then there's an increase in the middle there as well, and you would follow that up and that would gradually get wider depending on how you're working your project or what the pattern requires, how this will look. But just to show that this has gone up on the end, an extra one in the middle, and then an extra one on this end too. So I hope this has helped you out today. I know learning new stitches sometimes can be a bit daunting, but hopefully this was easy enough for you to follow. If you do need to watch it a few more times, rewind, listen to my voice again and again and again until you get it right, because once you can do this, then it opens up a load of possibilities of all the patterns that you can complete once you're able to increase your stitches. And no doubt there's probably a decrease in there too, and that will be in another video soon. So if this has helped you out, please do like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out. I am wanting to do this full time, so having a lot of your support really helps me achieve that goal. So then I'll be able to do more of this, help more people out, and just share the crochet love, which is what I'd really like to do. So please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Happy crocheting!